Thank you, Officer Quattlebaum. Now we have one more speaker before our lunch break. Please welcome Ms. Cecilia Bonner, who is a licensed clinical social worker and clinic coordinator at Madonna Ptak Center for Alzheimer's and Memory Loss at Morton Plant Mease Hospital. Ms. Bonner?
Good morning still. You have to make sure. I'm like Monica, I talk fast, and I know your stomach is growling, so hopefully I'll get you finished in time. It's really painful to hear these type of topics right before lunch, but I'm so glad that Maria has asked us to share information about Safety Net and Silver Alert because it is so important. We consider the car as a vehicle that can kill. You know, it's not just a means of independence, but it's a machine that can kill. On February 26, 2008, Mary Zelter of Largo left in her car away from her assisted living facility. She never returned. She was 86. She had dementia. A week later, her body was found 10 miles away. She was in the intercoastal waterway, and her car was nearby submerged. That is why we have Silver Alert, because of Pinellas County resident that left the assisted living facility. We're sorry for that family that had to go through that, but Silver Alert is so vital because of that incident. Florida has over 21 million residents. In 2017, there were known 510,000 cases of Alzheimer's disease, not related dementias, but Alzheimer's disease. 300,000 of them are driving. I think most of them, are in Pinellas County. 60% of persons with Alzheimer's disease and related dementias will wander. They're going to either wander on foot or they're going to get lost in a car, in a vehicle. 70% of people with Alzheimer's disease reside in the home. So that's a lot of people to manage, a lot of caregivers that are managing this process of Alzheimer's disease, trying to prevent them from driving. I did want to share that a statistic for Pinellas and Pasco County, because our clinic, we service Pinellas and Pasco County, there are 48,000 known cases of Alzheimer's disease. This is not other dementias, this is just Alzheimer's disease. I like to give word pictures because it's easy to remember. Tropicana Field cannot hold that many people with Alzheimer's disease. They only have 40,000 seats. So each seat in the Trop is going to represent someone with Alzheimer's disease. Then you're going to have to go to the Jay Stadium and then the Philly Stadium. All three of those professional stadiums cannot hold every resident in our two counties that have Alzheimer's disease. That is a 2017 statistic. This is changing. And one thing that I'm passionate about is hurricane evacuation for people with Alzheimer's disease. There's 12,000 people in Pinellas and Pasco County combined that are in evacuation A that have Alzheimer's disease that live alone. So I'm at Bay Care. They know me, trying to come up a plan for our community, for our residents that live alone that have Alzheimer's disease. Governor Charlie Crist signed Executive Order 08211 on October 8, 2008, enacting Silver Alert. Maybe we need to go to the next slide. So that was just enacting Silver Alert. It did not become law until Charlie Crist signed it into law in 2011. How many years ago is that? It had to take this incident with Mary, before it became enactment, and then it had to become law. Silver Alert refers specifically to cognitively impaired individuals who get lost driving in a car. This program helps reduce the risk of tragedy among one of Florida's largest and most vulnerable groups, and that is people that have Alzheimer's disease and related dementias. Silver Alert is a plan to aid local law enforcement in the rescue of the missing persons who are driving in a car by broadcasting pertinent information to the public through the use of the dynamic message signs on the Florida highways. These signs display, and I know you've seen them, display the make, the model, the color, the year, the tag, and also the state tag that they were lost driving. You do not know. I do follow up on all the Silver Alerts in Pinellas and Pasco County as the clinic coordinator and as part of a state grant. I have so many Silver Alerts on my desk right now, so I have to receive the police report and contact whoever made the initial report. But there are so many snowbirds that cause Silver Alerts in our state. Since 2008, there have been over 1,775 Silver Alerts. That is a lot. 78% of the Silver Alerts issued were male drivers. 60% of Silver Alerts issued are from people between 80 and 99. That is insane to me. Pinellas County is the 5th highest incident rate in the state, and that's because they want to come to our beach, don't they? In 2017, there were 254 Silver Alerts. Only 4 have been unsolved, and those are on the Silver Alert website. You can see that. And only 1 has been found deceased. I was just looking at my desk and my notebook for Silver Alerts that I follow up. We have had more Silver Alerts this year than we've had in the past 2 years. And I don't have an explanation for that. I really don't. And actually more of these have been women. Recovery locations, 7% are recovered out of state. What I see on the police report is that they end up in Georgia when they run out of gas. But most of them stop on the interstate, and state trooper finds them because people are flying around them. 42% have been recovered in the same county, but 51% are recovered in another county. The reason dementia and driving is an issue is that dementia leads to short-term memory loss. It leads to disorientation of time and place. It leads to impaired judgment and reasoning, and then problems with abstract thinking. We do not know when these specific symptoms are going to flare up while someone's driving. The 4 most common reasons people become lost in the car is because maybe they're out of a normal outing and they become lost. Maybe they're agitated with a caregiver and they leave on their own. I think the last 3 that I had, they were very upset with their spouse, so they got in the car and left. The caregiver was asleep, they're distracted, and so therefore they leave. Or they leave from a healthcare facility when unattended, just like Mary. And that still happens. People are still living in assisted living facilities that are not secured units, and they are becoming Silver Alerts. I have seen each of these common reasons on police reports when I follow up with Silver Alerts. Persons with Alzheimer's disease and related dementia may wander at some time in the disease process, but not all will. They want to go to work. They want to go to church. They want to go home. And we don't know what home is, what home they're talking about. Maybe the hat or their jacket or their shoes or their umbrella, their keys, they're located next to an exit door and it's visible. They can see it. So if they're wandering in the home, they see that their stuff and they just, oh, okay, well, I need to leave. They have fear, they have anxiety, they have agitation. They had the inability to locate the bathroom, the bedroom, the family room, the dining room. Just like Joel said, that gentleman didn't know how to get out. He thought he was going in McDonald's, but he was actually going into the garbage dump. Other triggers for wandering is overstimulation, noise, lights, too many visitors, change in a family caregiver. onset of an illness of like a urinary tract infection, or even pneumonia. It's important as a caregiver to help lessen the possibility of wandering and elopement. That's a big task. Some preventative strategies involve them in a favorite activity, a puzzle, a word game, a photo album. Maybe they need to go to Maria's. Usually that's the case. Provide opportunities for success and recognition. Like when they fold laundry. They fold the laundry, they've completed that task, it's been successful. They've set the table, they've seen what they've done, that's been successful. Utilize a tracking system. There's so many, but we are so fortunate that our county has the safety net. You've got to use that. Use a cell phone. If they have a cell phone, you can ping that. Also, what I see or hear in my caregiver support groups is tile mate. I don't know if you've seen that, but it's like a little tile that you can attach to their glasses, to their purse, to their bicycle, whatever, that if anything becomes lost, then they can find it. But you can also attach it to their belt loop. Utilize these tracking systems, because be mindful that a tracking system is useful. Use whatever you can. Also, add additional locks to exit doors. One thing I've learned from Arden courts is you're going to put the lock up high at the door, because people with Alzheimer's disease, they reach out, they don't reach up. That's why if you go to facilities, they'll have a shelf at the top with their belongings, because no one's going to steal that and hoard that. They're not going to reach up, they're just going to reach out. So make sure you have those extra locks up high. Another preventative strategy is seek medical attention when you start seeing some bizarre changes or some early changes that just are not normal for you, what you call normal. Maybe they're talking less, they don't really want to eat or drink like they used to, they're not participating in an unusual activity, they need more help than usual, they can't get out of bed, they can't get up from the toilet, from the chair. They have maybe a sudden weight change, because if you have a question about any unusual change or decline or a behavioral display, you need to call your neurologist or call your primary care physician, because some kind of infection is taking place. So, how do you really know if your loved one should not drive? This is our assessment question. We don't talk about the elephant in the room. We just shoot the arrow right at it. Would you allow your grandchildren to ride in the car with your loved one with no other adult present? That is the quick reaction we get from people. Absolutely not. That is your answer if they should be driving. Especially if they say, oh, he drives, but I am not riding with him. Well, that's enough. That's just like a no-brainer, isn't it? So maybe if you're still kind of, well, I really don't know, well, then have a cognitive assessment, whether it be at a memory disorder clinic at St. Anthony's, at Morton Plant, talk to your neurologist. You can also have a cognitive driving assessment. Our outpatient rehab at Morton Plant does a comprehensive drive-able assessment, which is with a physical therapist that they do a cognitive assessment, and then that will determine if they need an actual on-the-road test. And I did want to share this information about the DMV medical reporting form. It's in statute, and I am going to read it verbatim, because I want you to know this empowers anyone that has a concern about someone's driving. So this is what the statute says. Any physician, person, or agency having knowledge of any licensed driver's or applicant's mental or physical disability to drive is authorized to report such knowledge to the Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles. The reports authorized by this section shall be confidential. No civil or criminal action may be brought against that physician, person, or agency who provides that information required herein. Anybody can report anybody. The state does want to know what is your relationship to the person that you're reporting, because if it's an angry neighbor because you keep hitting their mailbox, they need to know that. But are you a concerned daughter? Are you a concerned neighbor? Are you the doctor? Are you the social worker? Are you the adult daycare provider? Are you the assisted living administrator that still knows that your resident is driving? If you have concerns about your loved ones driving, let the doctor know. The doctor or anybody can report to the DMV, but what we say in our clinic, let the doctor be the bad guy. That's fine. We don't mind being the bad guy. They might not ever want to come back to that doctor, but that's all right. There's going to be another doctor to follow them. When should you report somebody missing? Well, when they're missing. There is no period to wait before you report to someone missing. It's not a violation. You're not going to be ticketed. An investigation is going to be conducted to determine the status and the well-being of the individual. But call now. I had someone in the support group, and she said, well, my husband was almost a silver alert, so you were going to have to call and follow up with me. I said, what do you mean almost? Well, he was missing almost for a couple of days, and I just thought maybe he would eventually turn up. You know, me and my son and my daughter and my grandson and my granddaughter, my 3 neighbors down the street, we all just, took, parts of the county and started, I'm like, oh, yeah, no. Yeah, I know it takes a village to find someone, but now is the time. Don't wait. That's what you do. Call 911. Don't try to take that on your own. Caregiving is hard enough. Critical information is needed for law enforcement for them to follow up on the silver alert. They need to know what they're wearing. You need to describe them. You need a recent picture. They need to know the make and the model and the year of the car. They need to know the tag number and the state and the color of the car and the last place that you saw them. We think, oh, we could remember that, but still make sure you have that information down. Part of our Memory Fit class, pay attention and concentrate what your loved one is wearing that day, because you never know when it might be a time where he might get lost in the car. So how does the silver alert go out? It's a BOLO, be on the lookout. Law enforcement does this. That's their job. They contact the local media outlets. They have community reported messages on your telephone to send out. Sometimes you might get those. All the local Alzheimer's organizations, they are made aware of that. Aging resource centers, there's those dynamic message board signs, and then the Florida Department of Elder Affairs also sends out email notifications to all the memory clinic coordinators across the state. So canceling a silver alert, that's still the law enforcement's responsibility. But also, if your loved one returns home while there's still an active silver alert, make sure you notify the investigating officer. Some people fail to do that. And so law enforcement are still trying to find their loved one. Oh, I've seen so many police reports that'll say, the wife contacted me 3 days later after her husband came up because she forgot about, oh yeah, I might need to let the police know. But make sure, because it's been so stressful, they don't think about those kind of things. So make sure if your loved one comes home before the police find him, that you notify law enforcement. So once law enforcement finds them, they're going to still do a comprehensive evaluation to make sure he's okay, make sure there's not been foul play, and then they'll do a police report. As a memory clinic coordinator is contracted with the Department of Elder Affairs, I do have to follow up on those silver alerts. So it usually takes a good 7, sometimes 10 days for that police report to be finalized, because it's a lot of details that they have to provide. Then I'm able to contact that caregiver to offer medical services, social services, even a memory clinic evaluation. So more information, of course, you can call 911 if you have a silver alert. But if you just want to find out some more information about silver alert, that's the website, and then also that's the 888 number. And I think my time is up. The church bells have rung. So hopefully you were able to get some information, but make sure if you have any concern about your loved ones driving, please talk to your doctor. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for that very much useful information. All right, we're almost ready for lunch, but before we do, Maria, how about drawing for a couple of more door prizes?
Hasn't it been amazing so far? Great speakers. And it's just, we have more amazing speakers coming up, so please don't leave. Have a delicious lunch, and here we go. The lady that won Easy Living, please stand up. She wanted to give it back. She wants a caregiver to take it home, so thank you. Our last three numbers, 657, 657. Here's the winner. And she is a caregiver. So. And 101. 101. 101? Where? Oh. This is from Attorney Rep Deloche firm. Thank you. Now let's go and have a delicious lunch, and I will see you back at 12:40. Thank you.
Yeah, let me just say, the food is in the back from 2 stations. Please don't bring food into the auditorium. There are seats in the back or in the lobby if you want to have lunch. And please be back by 12:40 for a speaker you won't want to miss.